Imagine being 5 years old, standing on a London street while your mother is taken away to a mental asylum. Imagine your father dying of alcoholism, living in workhouses, sleeping on cobblestones and eating orange peels from the gutter. Imagine being told over and over that you are nothing and will never be anything. Now imagine that same boy 30 years later becoming the most famous face on planet Earth. Imagine him creating a character, the little tramp, who wears a too small coat and too large shoes, who gets kicked in the pants and stands up again, who makes you laugh until you cry and then makes you cry until you laugh. This is not a story about a saint. Charlie Chaplin was a complicated man, charming, controlling, brilliant, and sometimes cruel. But this is also a story about a very specific kind of hope. The hope that the smallest, poorest, most ridiculous among us still matters. That a man with a cane and a waddle can walk into the machine of modern life and make the machine pause. Welcome to our channel. Today we are telling the story of Sir Charles Spencer Chaplin. And by the end you will understand that hope is not about avoiding pain. It is about turning your pain into art that heals others. Charlie Chaplin was born on April 16, 1889 in London, England. His parents were music hall entertainers. His father, Charles Sr., was a gifted singer and a hopeless alcoholic. His mother, Hannah, was a beautiful performer with a voice like an angel, and a mind that would eventually break. Charlie's earliest memory was watching his mother lose her voice on stage. She was singing to a rowdy crowd. Something cracked. The audience started booing. The manager pushed 5-year-old Charlie onto the stage. He sang a nonsense song. The audience threw coins. Charlie later said, "That was the first moment I knew I could make people happy." But happiness didn't last. His father abandoned the family. His mother's mental health collapsed. Charlie and his older half-brother, Sidney, were sent to the Hamwell School for orphans and destitute children. The food was rotten. The teachers were cruel. The boys slept in iron beds in freezing rooms. Charlie later wrote, "I never felt so alone. I would lie in bed and listen to the other boys cry. I promised myself that I would never be hungry again, and I would never be ordinary." He left school at 13. He worked as a printer's assistant, a toy maker, a glass blower, and a doctor's boy. He was nearly arrested for vagrancy. He slept in doorways. And then, through a combination of luck and sheer stubbornness, he got a small part in a theater production. He was 15. He was not good, but he was fast. He could mimic anyone. He could fall down in a way that made people laugh. In 1913, Charlie Chaplin was touring America with a British vaudeville company. He was 24 years old and still virtually unknown. One night, a talent scout from Keystone Studios saw him perform. He offered Charlie $150 a week to make movies. Charlie said, "I don't know anything about movies." The scout said, "Nobody does. That's why you're cheap." Charlie arrived at Keystone in Los Angeles. He was overwhelmed. The pace was insane. 1 reel comedies, 10 minutes each, shot in a single day. Charlie learned on the job. His first films were clumsy, but within months he invented something that had never existed before. He was told to put on a costume for a comedy bit. He rummaged through the wardrobe. He put on baggy pants, a tight jacket, oversized shoes, a bowler hat, and a little toothbrush mustache. He borrowed a bamboo cane. He waddled out onto the set. The little tramp was born. The tramp was not a clown. He was a gentleman who had fallen on hard times. He was poor but proud. He was clumsy but graceful. He would tip his hat to a lady, get kicked by a policeman, dust himself off, and tip his hat again. The audience saw themselves in him. They laughed, but they also wept. By 1918, Charlie Chaplin was the most famous person in the world. He signed a contract for $1 million a year. He built his own studio. He had complete creative control. He was 29 years old. The 1920s were Charlie's golden age. He made The Kid, 1921, about a tramp who raises an abandoned child. It was the first film to mix comedy and drama so seamlessly. Audiences wept. He made The Gold Rush, 1925. The famous scene where he eats his own shoe, forks it like a gourmet meal, and then dances with dinner rolls. It is still considered one of the greatest comedies ever made. He made City Lights, 1931. The story of a tramp who falls in love with a blind flower girl. The final scene, where she touches his face and realizes who he is, has no dialogue. It is the most moving 2 minutes in silent cinema. And then he made Modern Times, 1936. The world had entered the Great Depression. Factories were swallowing human beings. Charlie, the tramp, gets trapped inside the gears of a giant machine. He is fed by a mechanical feeding machine. He is pursued by corporate bosses. He is arrested for accidentally leading a communist protest. Modern Times was Charlie's warning. He said, "We think too much. We feel too little. Machines are good servants but bad masters." The film ends with the tramp walking down a long road with his fellow outcast, the gamine, played by Paulette Goddard. She asks him, "What's the use of trying?" The tramp looks at her, then at the camera, then at the road. He shrugs. He smiles. He keeps walking. In 1940, Charlie Chaplin did something that nearly destroyed his career. He made The Great Dictator, a direct satire of Adolf Hitler. It was his first true talking film, and it was astonishingly brave. Other studios were afraid to mention Hitler's name. Charlie dressed as a Jewish barber who looks exactly like the dictator, a second role. In the film's final speech, 6 minutes long, Charlie looks directly into the camera and speaks to humanity. "I'm sorry, but I don't want to be an emperor. I don't want to conquer anyone. I want to help everyone. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity." The speech made people weep. Hitler personally banned the film in Germany. The FBI opened a file on Charlie Chaplin. J. Edgar Hoover suspected him of being a communist. He was not a communist. He was just a humanist who hated fascism. But the Red Scare caught up with him. In 1952, Charlie traveled to London for the premiere of Limelight. While he was on the ship, the United States Attorney General revoked his re-entry permit. He was effectively exiled from the country where he had built his life. Charlie was 63 years old. He was heartbroken. He settled in Switzerland with his wife, Una O'Neill, daughter of the famous playwright and 36 years his junior. He rarely made films again. In Switzerland, Charlie Chaplin did not stop working. He wrote his memoir. He composed the music for his old silent films. He was secretly a gifted composer. He wrote a score for Limelight that won an Academy Award 30 years after the film was made. In 1972, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences invited Charlie to receive an honorary Oscar. He was 83 years old. The United States finally gave him a visa. He flew to Los Angeles. When he walked onto the stage, the audience stood and applauded for 12 minutes, the longest standing ovation in Oscar history. Charlie was frail. He could barely see. He wiped tears from his eyes. He looked at the golden statue and said, "Words seem so futile, so feeble." Then he walked off, still waddling just a little, still smiling. Charlie Chaplin died on Christmas Day 1977 in Vevey, Switzerland. He was 88 years old. His grave was robbed 2 months later. Thieves tried to hold his body for ransom. They were caught. Charlie was reburied under 6 feet of concrete. But the little tramp cannot be buried. He is alive every time someone trips, gets up, dusts themselves off and keeps walking. Chaplin once wrote, "You will never find a rainbow if you're looking down. Life is a tragedy when seen in close-up, but a comedy in long shot." To our audience in the USA, the UK and Canada, you are watching this video in a world that feels like a Chaplin film sometimes. The rich get richer. The poor get poorer. The machines are taking over. The politicians scream at each other. And you are just trying to keep your hat on your head and your feet on the ground. Charlie Chaplin grew up in a workhouse. He watched his mother go insane. He was chased by the FBI. He was exiled from his adopted country. He was mocked, investigated, and forgotten by some. And still he made The Kid. He made City Lights. He made a speech to Hitler that said, "You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful." The hope in his story is not that he had an easy life. The hope is that he had a meaningful life. He took his pain, the hunger, the loneliness, the fear, and he turned it into art that has made billions of people feel less alone. If you are struggling, if you feel like the world is laughing at you, if you keep getting knocked down, remember the tramp. He never landed a punch. He never won a fight. He just kept tipping his hat, swinging his cane, and walking into the sunset. Not because he was strong, because he refused to stop. If Charlie Chaplin has ever made you laugh when you needed to cry, hit that like button for the boy from the London workhouse who taught the world to smile through tears. Subscribe for more stories of humans who turned suffering into something beautiful. And in the comments below, what is one Chaplin film or scene that will always live in your heart? Thank you for watching. Keep your hat on, keep your cane handy, and keep walking. Fade to black. The sound of a lone violin playing the Smile theme. A tiny man walks away swinging his cane. Smile though your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. Charlie Chaplin.